Okay, in this video we're going to go over the M4-DMX test modes, and they range from 700 up to 709. 700 being rapid color change, and 01 would be white, 2 blue, 3 green, 4 red, 5 yellow, 6 pink, 7 cyan. Then on 708 we got a fast color change, and then 709 is a slow color change. Okay, and then just a little diagram of how the dials are here, but we'll see them in the board in a second. Okay, and here we have our M4-DMX unit. Now, in this video, of course, I have it tied into my stick controller, which the communication cable for it runs to my stick controller. So the first thing I want to do for my test is I want to make sure that, well, power is off, and number 2, that DMX data is disconnected. I got it, for testing purposes, I have it on a 3-pin male and female XLR connector. So I'm wanting to disconnect my data from my M4 in order to do these tests. Okay. Here's the 3 dials that were in the picture earlier that we're going to be dealing with. Right now I have them set to 701 because that's what the program calls for and the way I'd set up my programming. Okay, so I'm going to give it power, and previously when you give an M4-DMX power, you'll see it run through a little cycle of lights. So it'll go white, red, green, blue. I think that was it. Okay, so as you can see on 001 it does nothing. I'm going to cycle power off again, turn it off. This time I'm going to change my dial settings to where X100 being at the top, closest to where the wires come in from the power supply for the DC voltage, which voltage coming in here is a positive 5 volts here and a positive 12 volts here, and that's the ground, in case anybody was ever wondering. That's how you can make, you can test this, make sure that the power supply is working. Take your voltage meter and read DC voltage between the black and the red, and then black and the blue. Okay, so now I'm changing my dial setting on X100 to the number 7. You got to be really careful with these. These are real delicate. I know it's very, very hard to see these dials, so do your best. Here I got my first one set to 7. I'm going to leave the middle one set to 0, and then the last one I'll set to 0 also, which will give me the rapid color change. And I'll turn the unit on. I'll cycle power. It'll go through its little test mode function, and now as you can see it's just rapidly changing color. I have 3 notes and one extreme note hooked up just to show it, they're working with a fiber. Right now I want to change to 702. I'm going to toggle power off again. Or I'm sorry, 701, and this will give me a static white color. Turn power back on. Goes through its little mode, and then you end up in white. Now please always note that when these units are in white, being RGB white, it's not going to be a perfect white that you would get from just only white LED. You're going to get different color hues come off of it. Okay, this unit primarily for chase effects and just mine's a limit, whatever. There's not too many limits for this this device as far as your color mixing and chase scenes. All right, so you kind of get the idea here. I'll toggle power once again. I'll change it to 702. This time it'll give me blue. Alright, and there you go. So this unit can actually be used without a DMX program if the customer only wants to have one color, okay, at all times. So no matter how many times I turn this off and on, it's still going to go through its little test run, and then it'll go into blue, okay, because I've set it up to always go to blue there. If you have multiple units, the best thing to do is make sure that your data is disconnected from all of the units, okay? And always make sure you're toggling power off and on. And this works in this mode. Being able to do this comes in really handy when you're troubleshooting to make sure that you have signal coming in, because a lot of times people will mix up the connections here or on back of their DMX controller to where they'll get all kinds of weird signal bounce, all the lights won't come on, or something crazy will happen to that effect, and people aren't sure if the problem's with their lights or with the controller or with the DMX generator. And basically disconnecting the data, you'll be able to independently control the M4 to the lights and see that all the lights would be working, if all the lights would be working or not. And that concludes this video for the M4-DMX test modes. Once again, if you have any questions, feel free to call me. My name is John Gonzalez. I can be reached at 407-857-9900, extension 281. Thank you.